Hi guys, good day. Welcome to our VodCast entitled Mariteas. Today, we will be sharing our thoughts about content creators being the new journalists of our generation. But before we start, I am Joseph Matthew Martinez together with my co-Maritees.
I'm Ariadne Salapang.
Hi, I'm Aleida Rojas.
Hello, I'm Maria Isabel B. Pineda.
And I am Nicole Ann Policarpio.
So with that, let us start.
With the ever evolving social media landscape, everything becomes possible for quite literally anyone. We are aware that vlogging is quickly becoming something that both celebrities and normal people can both engage in, and why not? It's a fun way to document your experiences. So when you look back years from now, you'll either be glad what happened was on film or embarrassed by how you looked in a particular video. Vlogger is a meaning of a person who vlogs, but instead of writing, he does videos. Basically, everyone can be a vlogger. So next, let us now go over the journalist backgrounds. What comes to your mind when you hear the word journalist?
I think it's
news.
very professional. Like for me, it's intimidating. Like if when someone tells me like I'm a journalist, like I'm gonna be like, wow, that's cool.
The vibe.
Yeah.
Mm,
A journalist investigates, collects, and presents information as a news story. This can be presented through newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and the internet. In other words, they are relied upon to present news in a well-rounded, objective manner. So, do you guys know any journalists or have any friends who are journalists?
As for my side, I don't know much journalists, but in
Yeah,
my
me
circle,
also. Me too.
there are content creators, which I would relate to.
Journalists, none, but I do have a sister who wants to take up journalism
Ooh.
and content creator. I myself am a content creator.
It's interesting.
So yeah, that's a fun fact.
Mm.
So yeah.
So, since as we all know, journalism is a broad career with many opportunities. Within different areas of media, there are specialized tasks for journalists. So, Aleida, what do you think the difference between the two is?
I think right now the difference is really blurry, especially with the past elections. I think the difference about content creators and journalists is journalists, it's the motivation behind it. Okay, like journalists' motivation is to inform and to provide the truth. No matter what it takes, actually, I think it's a very brave thing to be a journalist. Do you know have you seen the video of Tiveros? She tied herself to a
Yeah,
pole.
I'm quite familiar
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah.
saw it
Yeah.
in the Twitter.
Yeah, in Twitter. It's Bagyong Rusing, I think. It's a typhoon back then. To report, like she was being swayed by the wind, and just so she could report what was happening,
The
she tied
dedication.
herself. Yeah, right. So it's very. We don't see content creators do that because the motivation of content creators is for entertainment and to grow their following. Right. It's very self-serving in a way, while journalism is really sacrificial.
As I have heard and seen in the news, are you guys familiar with Trixie Cruz Angeles?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that accredited the vloggers to be in the briefings inside the Malacanang, specifically the United Vloggers and Influencers of the Philippines, which were established during the recent campaign. She mentioned that it was a priority that they formulated in the office for them to be in the briefings and meetings, and I think it's very what's the word?
It's very sus.
Yeah, sus. Ayun. Suspicious. Once these vloggers start to take over the general media, I am quite sure that the prevalence of fake news would be more chronic than it is already. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
No one would ever
Yeah.
believe the actual news authorities, and most people would be siding with these vloggers for they are more saturated with their contents in terms of watch time through social media
Yeah.
instead of
They're literally called United Vloggers CH something. So
Yeah.
they're gonna reinforce what they already believe about the current administration. You know, they do not oppose it because they already believe it, right?
True. And due to algorithm patterns, they will their audience will be flooded by their contents. And as stated by Surigao del Norte Second District Representative Robert A. Barbers, traditional media should still be the ones on the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
I do support this statement, and people could go watch or read vloggers' contents and do whatever they want, although they should not be the primary source of political news, but instead the ones that are trained and educated in the field are watchdogs.
As an addition to
Agree
what
with that.
Joseph have said, the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines have shown concern about this issue. They have stated that democratizing access to government by way of bloggers is not really a bad idea. However, what makes it concerning is how false information might spread rapidly, as what is already happening in the media today. Do you think it would have a negative impact in our country?
That's a great question, Isabel. In this kind of situations, we cannot avoid asking, is there a negative impact about this? Is there a negative impact about that? But you know, it will be a big problem, especially we all know that Filipinos are being tagged as the third most ignorant after the South Africans and Brazilians. This is according to the Manila Times article. And what do we think will happen if someone who do not have background about journalism will spread the news? So Filipinos who are low critical thinkers will probably be the number one victim of
Yeah.
this sickening society. In fact, I believe that it is something not to be proud of, right? Imagine how will other countries react. They will probably be disappointed. And as a concerned citizen, I'm not afraid to say that this is not the right thing to do, especially if you know that your people inside the country need someone who is credible enough to spread information.
Another thing, have you heard of the metaphor, the blind leading the blind? It is when a person who knows nothing as advice to another person who knows nothing as well. This might happen when content creators are accredited as news journalists. Content creator or blogger rely only on what they can see on the surface. The more
Yeah.
views, likes, or reactions they get, the
Yeah,
more credible they seem
exactly.
to their audience.
So where do we draw the line between the two? What do you think?
So for me, the key difference between the two is that with vlogging, we should offer more opinion and analysis that links to news stories reported by mainstream media. While when it comes to journalists, we should gather and report facts and opinion from expert source.
And I also think that as bearers of news, I think it's up to us. Like individually, we have we have responsibilities in
Yeah.
protecting the truth, and we always have you know that we should fact check. We should talk to other people who have different beliefs compared to us, because
Mhm.
the algorithms that we are in right now reinforces our own beliefs.
So I think that concludes today's programs. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts, and thank you for the audience or watcher for
Thank you so
listening.
much.
So again, we are your resident Mariteas, Joseph Matthew Martinez,
I'm Agnes Halapang.
Aleda Rojas.
Isabel Pineda.
And Nicole and Policarpio.
and
Thank you
this is
guys.
Mariteas.
Marty.
Okay, bye.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.